Prepare yourself for an entertaining and somewhat informative hour of MMA Talk Radio.
My mission here is to motivate.
Out of the red corner, Ocho. Out of the blue corner, Timbo Slice. And your host, Fight Fit Lifestyle founder and UFC fighter, Stephen Ocho Peterson.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Good to have you back.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Well, we echo.
Friday.
Can everybody hear the echo?
It's our new.
Nope.
It's a new part of our show. It's trippy out.
You're all just
Messing
tripping.
with my head, though.
I think I'm having an acid flashback. Back. Did you see the size of that chicken? Do you remember that? Young Guns? You ever watch Young Guns?
No, I think that's a little.
Bro, you got to watch that. You get hooked on Young Guns. What the hell is going on?
We're going to do a whole show like this?
We were just bragging.
Whoa.
I'm tripping. What the hell's in this pen? Did you see
They're
the
trying to get you
size
guys
of
on my
that
level.
Chicken. Post-surgery.
Yeah, man. They cut me up.
I'm tripping out right now. Can the fans hear this? In the show? Hello?
No, you can leave it.
Joe,
Let's start over.
I think it's only in your head, Joe. You're the only one who hears this shit.
What the fuck is in this?
I was just about to share it. Yeah, we got a few people watching. What's
Are
up?
they tripping?
What's up?
Are they
Ron?
tripping with us?
Have y'all seen
Ron?
Young Guns?
Yeah, this is
They're like Young Guns.
But it's in our ears, so I'm sure they're just laughing at us.
They have no idea what we hear, huh? I hear
But
things, and I see things all the
for me
time.
because I'm on some pain meds,
Mike, echo.
Check.
Are you talking
Oh,
to me?
we got tech on there working on it, so
They'll get it figured out.
We'll get it going. So let's talk about.
What happened last Friday?
Man, I thought I was gonna wake up and be able to still go to the show.
It's better like this.
I had a surgery plan for 7:00 a.m. So I'm thinking, 2-hour surgery. I'm gonna be, 9:00, 10:00. I'll, recover. Latest, I'll get out of there like 11. And I might be tripping out when I come on the show.
And your driver would be bringing you to the show and everything?
Yeah, I had a driver, and I wasn't worried about it. So I figured I would get to the show on time.
Disco. There we go.
And then,
Hey, we're back.
so I wake up from my surgery, and I'm just like in so much pain, and I'm just nauseous, and like, what's going on? And they're like, well, it's 3:00. I was like, oh shit, I gotta go get my son. Like, we gotta get my kid from school. And they're like, your 2-hour surgery turned into a 6-hour surgery, and that's all taken care of. So don't worry about it.
Damn.
I was like, oh man. So what happened
So
when I was
Keisha
under?
wasn't sitting at school going, where the hell's that?
Yeah, thank God.
Oh, man.
They thought ahead, and good family friend of ours, Vicky, helped out and picked him up. Met up with us after we went after I was done with my surgery. So they originally went in to get a chip of bone out of my joint. So there was a large chunk of bone lodged in the joint.
So where did that bone come from? You got
I would imagine about 8 years ago. I took a lot of damage to this elbow. It was pretty swollen, and
But I mean, do you have an area where there's supposed to be bone where there's not? Or does that grow back?
I don't know how that works.
It was a
but
tooth.
They were he said there's no telling where the chip comes from. He had like a technical term for it, osteomite or something like that, osteolite or something. But so it was a loose chip of bone that had got lodged in my joint however many years ago, and I've had issues with this elbow for 6 to 8 years. So, but it's been progressively getting worse. Blocking punches majorly would make it so I can't even lift my arm up. So, I had to get it looked at in this camp, and they said, that bone chip's got to go. It's causing a lot of damage. And they went in there with the scope to go get it out, and it was way too big to get out with the scope, and it was actually embedded into the joint. So, it was stuck in there, and they couldn't get it out. It was too big to use the scope anyways, so they cut me open and got the bone chip out, and then realized I had some other things going on in there, a loose ligament on the other side, so they went in there and fixed that. He said he didn't want to do an incomplete job and have me have to come back and get another surgery. So he, another large incision on the backside, fixed that ligament, and now I'm good to go.
Man,
you got a bunch of stitches along there?
Yeah.
Yeah, 30 stitches.
30 stitches.
Yeah,
I mean,
your
arm looks like a sausage, like a tattooed fat. Man, it's colored.
Well,
it's purple.
My other arm, I'm losing muscle mass. I feel like, I haven't been able to work out in over a week. I'm like freaking out over here.
Yeah.
They don't even want you to go to the gym and just work with the right arm?
Nah.
They don't want you bouncing around and stuff.
I can't run. I mean, the most exercise I've gotten is walking to the gym. I live about half a mile away from the gym, so I just, walk there. But just yesterday we got the splint off. They cut it off, and then today I'm actually getting it moving, and we're just working on normal range of motion stuff.
Like the jack off range?
I can't.
You can't? Oh my God! You got to go right-handed? That's terrible.
Yeah. So yeah, I was really looking forward to the show last week. I'm sorry I missed it.
We knew you weren't going to be here, dude.
We got it covered.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell we talked about.
I don't even remember, but we didn't get in trouble. Not as of yet.
Not yet.
No letters.
I haven't received any.
Did we get any hate mail? No. Oh, you weren't here either.
I wasn't able to watch it, so I have to look back. But there was a lot I wanted to talk about. The Texas judging that became a huge thing in my career, and I'm glad that it's on the map. That how bad it is out here. Therefore, I should contest all of my decision losses due to shitty judging. They should totally revamp the whole scoring system. And like we talked about with God, I forgot his name. The judge that we had on the show.
Seth
Fuller?
Yeah, we talked with Seth Fuller. He went off on a rant of his own, and
he was
how
pissed.
It needs to change. And he's a judge here in Texas and a ref, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, a ref and a judge. So if people in the Texas Commission agree that something needs to change, then something should change, right? And like he said, that the only people with the resources to get it done are the UFC.
Well, on that note, Joe Rogan during Andrea KGB Lee's fight was like
some hearsay about that maybe the ref that was on his phone wasn't on duty during that fight, but
Joe Rogan made a point to call him out.
Yeah, but that then what? How do you excuse it? Like what? Joe Solis is the name of the judge that's in question right now for multiple decisions that night, and apparently he was Trevin Giles' coach. His jiu-jitsu coaches gave Joe Solis a black belt. So Trevin Giles,
he didn't just
and he
give
got the
it to him, did he? He earned it.
Right, he earned it under him. So he's got a lineage with a coach of Trevin Giles, and Trevin Giles fought that night. He fought James Krause, and it was and Joe Solis scored it 30-27 for Trevin Giles.
That's the only fight I missed.
Trevin Giles had the back of James Krause for the whole first round. So how does he lose that first round? Sure, you maybe the second goes to Giles, and the third might go either way, but the first one, how do you excuse that?
And that's something that you really can't. It's hard to figure out. But the other thing that I got out of that was everyone always says these judges need to have experience. They need to know what the hell is going on. They need to have trained. They need to have done something.
Experience.
So he has experience.
He has jiu-jitsu experience.
But as they keep saying, as everyone keeps saying, we're talking about it here as well multiple times, that these judges have to work under somebody. They have to get this experience where they have to train in the gym. They have to, whether they step into a cage. Every time they do that, they're going to be training with one of these top.
Yeah, some of the fighters.
Yep.
The way I see that is eliminate the judges make it score counters, and you make it like a any other martial art there is, kickboxing, taekwondo, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. They all go off of a score, a point-based system. If you get a takedown, it's 2 points. If you get side control, that's 3 points. Everything counts for points, right? Why not interpret that into a MMA fight? If you hit the guy, you get a point. If you kick the guy, you get 2 points, or however you would do a taekwondo style
That's the way
scoring system.
Kickboxing used to be.
And also incorporate the live scoreboard. So, you're getting points by these, scorers rather than judges, and one scorer might score you, 50 to 45, and the other one might score you 52 to 45, or however they see it, but make it more of a point-based system and not a
and have live
not
scoring.
10-9 scoring system it's been
That-
proven to
that
be
is-
corrupt from
that
the
does need to
start.
change.
It's a boxing thing, and boxing, has proven that system does not work.
Mm-hmm.
So why interpret a corrupt scoring system into a new sport? MMA is a sport of its own. It should have its own athletic commission. It should have its own scoring system, and the commission needs to oversee everything. The boxing commission should not oversee MMA. It's a totally different sport.
Way
they don't
different.
they don't oversee taekwondo. They don't oversee
Wrestling.
jiu-jitsu.
No.
They don't oversee wrestling.
Yeah.
Why are they overseeing just because it's a combat sport?
Mm-hmm.
We need our own combative athletic commission that has different people that handle different sports.
And then I was watching Joe Rogan, and I think it was Joe Rogan, but he also said it should show live scoring at the end of each round. So
Yeah,
the
you should
fight,
know.
The
You should
fighters
know
know
who's
what's
up.
going on.
It-
Yeah.
and the audience would know. They
Yeah.
would cheer for their
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
or
and the only
boo,
argument
or-
they have against it is, the guy that knows he's up is going to not fight. Well, what about the guy that knows he's down?
he's going to come.
He's going to be
going.
coming out like a dog. He's going to have
Mhm.
to, take the fight to the other guy. It's going to make for a lot more exciting fights.
But you can even go back to Pride. They were. I mean, the ref was always on them if they were sandbagging, if they weren't moving forward, if they weren't trying to do something. I mean, he was always threatening whether to take a point, whatever it was. But they're pushing them to continue fighting.
Yeah.
So you got somebody that's up. Yeah, they might be coasting a little bit, but they're also going to then start losing that round if they're coasting. And
Right.
and like you
And
said, the other guy's going to come out.
going to come out and go balls to the wall. If I'm down 2 rounds to 1, I'm going balls to the wall in that third round. It's do or die. I'm going to finish the guy or get finished trying. That type of mentality going into the third round.
It's going to make. I think that's going to make for much more exciting fight.
Right.
Because you're going to
You'll
have
be able
somebody
to,
that's.
and the fans will know.
Fun fact: balls to the wall was a fighter pilot term. When they would punch it, I guess the throttle handle was a ball, and they'd say balls to the wall. Boom. And they'd boom. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Joe Show to come through
Oh
with the
my
fun
gosh.
fact.
Yeah. I don't
So
know.
yeah, this is something that we're always going to talk about as long as it's a problem. And coming up, everybody, like, the fighters need to talk about this. This is our sport. If you're not passionate about who's dictating your future, then you're not invested in this sport. You need to be part of the change. I think all the fighters need to be contesting these crazy decisions, putting these judges on blast. All the media outlets. I'm glad that Joe Rogan's now talking about it. They were talking about the UFC after show about not just Texas but judging in general. There needs to be an overhaul of the whole system.
And you're right, there does. And it's good to see that it's coming out, but I think there's a lot of misinformation out there that's coming out too. I mean, as Joe Rogan saying, the judges look him down, and calls out by his name.
Right.
He wasn't even one of the judges in Andrea's fight.
Yeah, and then that
So-
kind of like shoots at our credibility of fighting, but that's neither here nor there. It doesn't matter. That's
Well,
the decision was extremely questionable in that fight, in the Andrea KGB Lee fight. I thought she had won the fight convincingly.
Yep.
I thought it was pretty damn close.
I
I watched it.
thought Reyes had won the fight convincingly, 1, 2, and 3, and I don't know who has it 4-1, but that was.
Well,
that
let's talk about that, because we talked about last week. Joe Rogan, and I quote Joe Rogan. I watch a lot of Joe Rogan. I get a lot of info. I'm a big fan. So whatever guess, he was saying, well, who wins the fight? The guy who's kicking, like, who wins the street fight? If you get in a street fight and this guy's kicking your ass for 3 minutes, but the last 2 minutes you beat the hell out of this guy, and you won the fight.
That's not how we're scoring.
But that's not how it's
MMA
scored.
Fights. It's scored round by round.
He was saying the last 2 rounds should be scored. The championship rounds should have more of an impact than the first 3 rounds. That's what he was saying. We feel about that.
I mean,
because
if you did overhaul the whole scoring system, that could be
take a while to
something to implement in there. Like, if we had points on there, maybe you get double points in the championship rounds or something, or a multiplier. But I think it should be scored.
Boom, power boost.
Yeah, I think it should be scored round by round, just how it is, or just have an endurance round if it was a 20-minute fight.
Because the decisions that you lost, you were usually winning round 3, and if it went to round 4, you'd have killed the guy.
I mean, yeah, generally, I start guys can't keep up with the pace for however long. It might be more agile in the first round or 2, but the pressure eventually gets to them.
Yeah, because a 5-round fight, I don't see you losing many of those.
My championship fights, I've finished 2 of them
in the fourth
round.
Right.
Yeah.
So
these guys, generally start
and
to
they
fold after that point.
They could have been kicking your ass for 3 rounds, but that 4th round, those are the championship rounds. I like those championship rounds being scored differently. Who's winning at the end of the fight?
So you want to change every fight to 5 rounds?
No.
Okay,
that's a championship fight for sure.
I mean, you got
a main event.
But as you're saying that, how do you implement that then with your scoring system changing? It's only going to change in main events and championship fights.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to do it, but it's just this, something to think about.
You could do something to where in championship fights, there's the second 2 rounds way heavier than the first 3, but I mean you would have to do away with the 10-9 must system then.
Right.
And so that's what they need to get away with.
10-9 must system is flawed from the get-go, and it needs to be a point-based system.
I mean, even if you change this, you're giving
I don't
5
hear,
points,
I don't
6,
hear that
7,
argument
8
out
points.
there, and that's why I'm pushing it. Because why isn't it a point-based system? It's a 10-9 must system. People are like, well, how many points you think you scored some points for that takedown? It's like, well, now I got to explain to you how the 10-9 must system works, because it's not per strike or per takedown. Why not? That's kind of weird. You just decide randomly that the one guy gets 10 points and the other guy gets 9 or less. Like what?
Just because
how do you interpret?
Right.
And that's how your normal and that makes sense. Like, how should that be interpreted? It's 10-9 must system. It doesn't make no fucking sense.
Yeah, the boxing.
Get rid of it.
And whether it's 5 to 10 points, but and unless you've really excelled, you don't get 9 or 10 points. You're only going to get 8.
Right. It doesn't. It's so interpretive. Like, it's up in the air. Like, what
I mean, with the 10-point must, it's like the person that didn't do as well. If they dominated, it might end up getting a 10-8. So that means you're taking away a point for the person that got dominated. You're not giving points to the person that was the dominator.
Right.
And if they change that, so it's moving.
It could potentially be 60 to 10. Or like if the guy got a couple punches in, 60 to 10 or something. If you're really dominating, which would make for much more interesting scores, and you could see where the gaps are, and all. You can't put in control time, but like jiu-jitsu wise, you don't get points for control time. You get points for passing the guard, for mounting. All these can be points added, and if you mount them and you're punching him, or if you're side control and you're elbowing him, each one of those strikes is therefore a point.
I mean, even look at Macy's fight. I mean, she had the punches she threw and landed in the first round.
It would have been like 400 to 30.
I mean, if you want to change it, you start looking at different fights of how they were scored and what happened in the past, and say, okay, how can we change this? Looking at this fight,
how close some fights really are, and you see how lopsided some fights really are. Even though somebody might edge somebody out 30, 30-27, they might edge out each round. Sometimes those rounds are extremely close point-wise, like as far as tit for tat. But prepare yourselves for a commercial break. This is Fight Fit Lifestyle Radio. We'll be back after these messages.
3, 2, 1. KVGIRadio.com.
Y'all have really just opened my bubble and just...
KVGI Radio brings you conversation and entertainment. Be sure to follow us on social media. Who streams the best talk shows? We do.
You're listening to KVGIRadio.com. Streaming live from the KVGI studios in Frisco, Texas. Live without limits.
Ocho Peterson.
I'm done talking about the judges. I'm just sick of it. I'm ready for something to change, but we got to keep talking about it to make everybody aware.
Otherwise, it just gets pushed under the rug.
Right. So
another...
it's going to be it's every time there's a bad judging, situation, an instance of a bad call or extremely bad call, like 30-27, when the guy obviously won around 2 rounds. There's going to be a lot of backlash, and I think the bigger the ball gets, we get it rolling. Eventually, we'll get some change, and the UFC can make that happen. So
it is their
it's
puppy to
kind
make change.
it's kind of their responsibility. They've made this sport what it is today. So they need to be the front runners.
Because if
and
somebody else wants to do that
overhauling
change, they're not going to accept it unless they're doing it.
Right. And if they just demand this change,
They should have an
we're
academy.
But we're not going to have
A ref-
We're not going to Vegas until Vegas changes it. Boom, Vegas changes it. They got a whole new MMA athletic commission, and then they just do that from state to state. Everybody should adopt the unified rules. Why?
Dude,
why
there
do
was
we
no
have
there was no unified rules when Macy fought last
Why-
weekend. They
why-
weren't adopted.
Why do we have different? They're not adopted in Texas yet.
And why aren't they?
Why aren't the new rules adopted everywhere? There should be one criteria across the state,
Yeah,
across
the country, yeah,
across the world.
Yes.
It's easier to do these things in other countries. You know why? Because they don't have the boxing commission overseeing them,
right.
holding all the power.
They're like the boxing mob.
Yeah.
UFC should train. You should, if you're going to be
Yes, they should
if
change it. They should train the judges.
They should
train
change
the
it. There should be a camp for all whoever's going to be a UFC judge. They got to show up and take these courses.
But the other thing with that is it's a separate entity. So whether they need to implement it, they need to lead that, but they can't be the ones that are dictating that because now
Right.
You're going to look at there's a lot more corruption than because they're the ones that are training them, telling them this, and assigning who's going to judge.
Right. That's why I'm saying do away with the people, make it a point-based system.
Do robots
fix everything?
Have
counters. Boom, boom, boom,
well,
boom.
Who's
you
sitting
have
there?
a different count than the guy next to you, but it's not going to be so extremely different that it's, you're going to have really close.
They already come up with. They already have in between rounds. They'll give you a punch count, a kick count,
and
how
they
many people
literally
are sitting
have
there?
chips that they put in the gloves. I've had these chips put in my gloves before, where they measure how many punches you land, and the chips actually like measure the force of the blows and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So
the impact.
They can just score them all based off the chips.
So if it's just this,
you get 1 point for just barely hitting them, and a certain level of impact, you get more points. Yeah,
you're sitting on the canvas. You're not even hitting.
I'm pretty sure they know when it hits somebody else and not yourself. But
there's a weighted sheet, right? There's
200 punches before you walked in.
So on to some MMA related stuff. Let's talk about some exciting fights we got coming up.
Well, what about still last weekend, man? We missed, the last weekend Macy fought. She won.
Right.
And
Macy fought and dominated. The main event was Janowicz.
Jan
Janowski.
Jan
Blachowicz.
Jan Blachowicz. Yeah, Jan Blachowicz fought Corey Anderson.
And Corey Anderson been bumping them gums a lot, man. He was talking about he was going to be the next champion.
After he beat Johnny Walker, he like made a big statement in that fight. And I was there. I watched it. It was pretty, he just outclassed him in that fight and made him look bad. And then he got extremely mouthy and cocky. And I think that was his undoing. I think he got really emotional in that fight and just thought he was going to steamroll Blachowicz.
That happens quite a bit.
I was pulling for him too.
People underestimate how much
it's good.
How much emotions can disturb a fight based off. I thought the level he would have won another decision. Blachowicz is hard to put away. He decisioned him the first time they fought, and I thought that's the way that the fight was headed. And he just got in there, got emotional, and got knocked out.
It was a hell of a knockout, though.
Yeah,
it was clean boxing.
Yeah,
it was good clean boxing, and it was shocking. But you could see it going that way early in the round. You could see he was getting outboxed, but I was pulling for him.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, man. He had the juice coming behind him, and he had he just did not perform that night. Bummer, but he'll come back.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. He'll be back for another fight.
Yeah, sure.
And it was interesting to see Jones sitting there in the front row after that, and it's like, okay.
Well, he's just looking for any challengers at this point.
But he's got two now.
I think he needs to fight Reyes, but he doesn't want that. He doesn't want an immediate rematch. He wants time on that one.
So you think his next opponent could be Blachowicz?
Yeah, because he picks his next fight.
I think
pretty
Jones
much.
on
He's the champ, and I think he should definitely do
Which one's going to be the bigger money maker? That's what they're going to
Reyes.
go with.
Jones would dominate on the rematch, I believe. Because if it had went into round 6, Jones would have finished it.
Here you go with round 6 already.
Yeah, but
That
that
would've been
wasn't
round 6.
The game plan was to take John Jones out early, and he put it on him for 3 rounds.
And John
he just couldn't
Jones
take him out.
rope-a-doped him for 3 rounds. Turned it on round 4 and 5.
You think
He was
roped
eating
it
some
up?
shots.
He was.
He was eating some shots.
I think, man, his chin, dude, nothing visibly. I mean, he got rocked a little bit,
got
but
rocked here and there.
yeah, but not like
here and there.
Yeah, but I think there was a little bit of rope-a-dope going on because round 4 he put it on his ass. Round 5 he put it on it. He started picking up the
Yeah,
speed.
you ever like tried to finish somebody and like
Just-
aggress the fight? It's
Yeah.
He had to put.
exhausting.
He
Yeah,
had
yeah.
to put it on him because he was down by 3 rounds.
I don't like how Joe Rogan kept talking about like the energy levels and all that. Like that doesn't matter. Like
They
yeah,
talk
you're
about
gonna
that all the
put
time.
out more energy to do more damage.
Mhm.
Then the idea is to damage the guy and take him out, not save your energy. Like, yeah, you should be exhausted at the end of the fight. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, he's backing up a lot, but he's not even breathing hard.
Yeah.
So he's
It's
saving
like,
himself for
yeah,
the next round. But
don't. Yeah, the energy level shouldn't matter. It should be.
And Reyes fought
the
going back.
aggressor.
Reyes fought going backwards a lot of the fight, though. Right? He was backing up a lot of the fight.
Towards the third, he started backing up.
Backing
I
up
think
quite
he
a
was
bit.
going forward the first.
the
One
first
and
2
two.
he was going
Quite a
forward all
bit.
the time. And I think that's why he was dominated because he was going forward. To me, when he started going backwards,
He was in
Right.
boxing range.
and fourth
some
and
badass
fifth, that's
kicks
He
when
was
he
too.
right. He was right in range to eat the shots of Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, and Reyes, I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from Reyes, man. He looked good. He really did look good. And I believe he won 1, 2, and 3. That's
Yep.
what I think.
Yep.
But
I agree.
but
But
we
it
weren't
just-
sitting
yeah.
there.
It is what it is. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're back on that.
dude, I couldn't even find the fight in Vegas. I was in Vegas that weekend. I would have to. They didn't have it at any of the hotels or casinos.
Hmm.
Yeah, we'd have to
They-
go.
I don't think they usually do. I don't know why, but
I know.
To make you order it.
Yeah, so I watched it on the phone.
but where are you going to order if you're visiting Vegas? Where are you going to go to your room and order it?
Yeah,
Well, if
I
you're
could've.
visiting Vegas, then you're not there for a UFC fight unless you're going to be there watching it.
Speaking of rematch, tomorrow night, Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber,
Yeah.
and Tyson Fury. Man, that's gonna be fire. Tyson
It is
Fury's
gonna be fire.
dude. Tyson Fury's coming in at 270.
He was
270
looking all
versus-
like mouthy and stuff.
He's a bad dude, man. I'm a Deontay
He
Wilder
looks
fan.
like he looks like he's gearing up to get knocked out.
He does.
No, Deontay Wilder looks like he's going to knock out Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was the one being all mouthy on the stage this time.
Well, he's
And
a
they- well, they
showboater.
didn't-
He's a showman.
Then I thought I read an article that they weren't going to have them do their final square down because they're afraid they're going to get into it.
Because they got in a little pushing match.
Yeah, a little pushing match.
Yeah, Tyson Fury's a way better speaker than Deontay Wilder. And he was talking that game. He reminded me a little bit of Conor McGregor, a little bit, like a 6'9". He's 6'9". The guy's what, 6'9"? At his heaviest, he was 392 pounds. I'm a fan of Tyson Fury. He can box. He is good, but I'm a bigger fan of Deontay Wilder. And Deontay Wilder made a statement. He's like, these guys have to be
making statements. And
dude, he's a
hurting
fucking
people.
killer.
Yeah.
He's like, these guys got to be perfect 12 rounds. I only got to be perfect for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And when you got that kind of power, it's true. I mean, he's just cracking dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, he puts the lights out. And I watched Tyson Fury training. He was MMA training. Did you watch? Did you see that video? He was throwing knees and elbows. I'm thinking, man, what if he came over to the UFC? Not that he would have to or need to, because the money he makes,
he could make a lot of money in it.
and he could beat some.
Like if he got into cahoots with Dana White, they could definitely throw a big main event.
And for some reason, I believe he did have a kickboxing career early on. I may be mixing up the stories.
It would make sense if he did. I mean,
It would be cool to see.
He's a combat
Yeah, I'm
athlete.
sure he has
He's
some,
not one.
but-
He's not one of the. He's a fighter.
Yeah,
You know.
and he on a lot of the shows I've seen, he talks about his depression and coming out, suffering depression. Even after he'd won his title, man, went up to 392 pounds, and It's a pretty good.
It does. You get a title, it doesn't change nothing. You still gotta.
Yeah.
You still gotta wake up on Monday.
Yeah.
But
After
what
the-
changed
after the
is the money.
party's
The
over.
money he got. So yeah,
Right.
he was eating more. He was going out for big steak dinners probably, and that's where he's putting on that weight.
He's
helping
Probably
to.
sitting on the couch.
Deontay Wilder's
Yep.
going to come in at like 230. He's a
Mhm.
small. He's not a
He
short
was, what,
heavy.
Yeah,
Two-
but he's super
He was
explosive.
under 210 last fight. So
Yeah, he's thin. He's light for that. I mean, he's barely a heavyweight. I think he would do what he would do to the light heavyweight division. He'd be killing those guys if he could hit
Put
them.
him with John Jones.
Yeah, I mean, you wonder what.
John Jones is a little longer.
Well, John Jones just wrestle him.
Yeah.
You don't want that,
No.
dude. In an
Boxers don't want that.
no, they don't want that, and John Jones don't want to get a hit with that straight right
No.
of Deontay Wilder in
Yeah.
those 4-ounce gloves. Can you? Oh man, his head would explode. It'd be like a video game. That'd be a cool fight.
Yeah, so tomorrow night as well. Before that, actually, I think it's during the afternoon. They're already weighed in last night. I was on my
Bellator's today.
No, the UFC in Auckland.
Oh,
They're the main event is
it says here on Tapology 4 p.m. and I don't know if that's
so
undercard.
4 p.m. The undercard starts probably.
today.
Well, that's kind of normal. Oh, today, right?
Uh,
Thought it was tomorrow. Like,
What day?
now it says here on top. It says Saturday 4 p.m.
so I saw
Eastern-
the weigh-ins
Eastern
were
time.
like last night. So they're on a different schedule over there. I don't know where's Auckland. Let's have a
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
All right.
Throw another shrimp on the
Nice.
barbie. Am I right?
In your mind, yes.
My 10-year-old would correct me.
That's why I'm not going to.
Yeah. Auckland, New Zealand. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I want to
So,
go.
yeah,
Man,
so
when you go fighting,
that would be it. We got what's his name? Angel of Death, Kevin Aguilar. He's fighting on that.
uh-huh.
I thought that would be such a nice vacation.
I want to go
You know,
to.
go out there.
I want to go.
So who's the main event tomorrow night?
Main event tomorrow night is Paul Felder and Dan Hooker.
Oh man,
They're ranked
Yeah, so-
6 and 5.
that's gonna
So-
be fire.
So Dan Hooker
Is a
been
badass.
knocking some dudes out. He knocked out our boy over here, James
Vic,
Vick. Yeah, knocked him out, and then
he's knocked a few people.
he's
out.
not. He's really clean with the straight punches, long striker, and Felder's much shorter.
Felder's a badass though. I'm a fan of
He
Felder.
is a badass.
Yeah.
and I'm a fan.
and
as
he's
well.
got red hair.
He's one of the other 7 with the spinning back fist knockout.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's been around longer, but somebody said I read somewhere since 2016, and that doesn't seem that long.
No,
Hold on,
maybe that's
hold
when
on,
his-
hold on.
That's
Maybe
probably
when
last-
his win streak started.
His first professional fight was in 2009.
Yeah, he's been
his,
around.
His UFC career.
All right, hold on.
When
hold on.
Was he on the Ultimate Fighter?
When was his first UFC fight? 'Cause I feel like he's been around a while.
2014.
2014.
Huh.
He's been
Wow, it's been
doing
a-
some commentating and stuff with them.
Yep.
Or some speaking with the after shows and stuff.
Yep.
So he's a company man, and he's a hell of a fighter.
I agree.
Yeah.
And he's buddies with Cowboy Cerrone. I believe they train together.
He's
or
got
something?
like 3 knockouts by elbow,
yeah, he's a
and
bad
1
dude.
spinning back fist knockout,
It's a
and some
karate or taekwondo background. He's got some short, compact
Short
spins.
spins, yeah.
Yeah, he's bad.
But it's going to be hard for Felder to get inside the reach of Hooker, and Hooker's really good with the long hooks and the straight punches. Really good about moving.
And what does that commentating life do to you? Does it make you softer?
Well,
You getting those good
I'd say,
paychecks?
the money, but I don't think Felder got any softer. He looks.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, you got that good paycheck now. You're on TV. You're wearing the suits. It makes it a little harder. It probably makes it a little hard. Yeah.
And Dan Hooker, it's Auckland is his native land, right?
Oh,
That's
shit.
His
So he's fighting in-
hometown crowd. So, is that going to build him up?
Or make him nervous.
Right.
I don't know. I bet he's going to get a lot of cheers.
I'm sure. There,
Yeah, so he's going to be fired up.
I bet.
All right, on that note,
I bet he's going to get a lot of cheers. I bet they're going to be cheering for his ass.
So he's gonna walk out, and they're gonna erupt. They're gonna roar, and then Felder's gonna walk out, and
And he'll
it's
be like,
gonna all
boo.
boos. Yeah,
The Irish hand grenade. Isn't that him?
the Irish Dragon.
It's the Irish dragon?
Yeah, right. Right,
The
Timbo?
Irish Dragon, correct.
Yeah,
You are
damn
correct.
idiot.
For 300 points, you are correct.
Boom.
Ding, 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 ding.
We should make an MMA trivia show.
That'd be fun.
I would so suck. You get on Charlie and everybody.
Well, Charlie's going to be on my team.
Okay.
Oh, damn it.
So yeah, Conor McGregor threw a shot at him though for the Irish thing. He said the Felders are German. You something.
But at times, something. But at times when you look at him, when he's got his beard and his beard's red, he looks like he's all ready for St. Paddy's Day.
Yeah, he looks Irish. I don't know.
Commercial.
Close it off.
All right.
Prepare yourselves for a commercial break. This 5 Feet Lifestyle Radio will be
3, 2, 1. KVGIRadio.com.
Y'all have really just opened my bubble and just.
KVGI Radio brings you conversation and entertainment. Be sure to follow us on social media. Who streams the best talk shows? We do.
You're listening to KVGIRadio.com. Streaming live from the KVGI studios in Frisco, Texas. Live without limits.
Out of the red corner, Joe Show. Out of the blue corner, Timbo Slice. And your host, Fight Fit Lifestyle founder and UFC fighter, Steven.
Pink sausage. It's kind of changed colors, like purple still.
I
Still
think
bruised?
I got some bruising in there, yeah.
How many stitches?
30.
God.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man,
fixing me up. So we're looking at like, maybe 3 months before I can at least train the way I train.
3 months before he's going to hit you again, Joe.
Yeah, before I
Great.
start moving
I'm
around.
still
with
working
the
my
guys.
defense.
So I'm thinking like late summer I should be able to fight if all goes as planned, but gotta take it slow. That's what everybody keeps telling me. So I'm not in a rush.
Take it slow.
I'm
and
just
do
taking
what-
it day by day. Got daily goals.
Right.
Today I'm gonna extend it this much.
Mm-hmm.
Once I meet those
Yeah,
goals,
man, you don't
then
rush it,
set
dude. You
another
got-
goal.
You're still young. You got time, dude.
Yeah.
You don't
I
want to
gotta
reach.
chill.
You rush it and you screw it up.
Yeah,
and
I got years of experience of in.
This your first real injury, though.
Well, I've been fighting with this elbow problem for so long. I feel like once it's better, then
Start knocking people out with your
I'm
jab.
gonna be able to throw my jab a lot better and block punches a lot better. And, I won't have to deal with that, if I rehab it the right way. So I'm gonna take my time, get it 100%, so that I can be 100% going forward. With my fighting, and I feel like it's definitely gonna make a difference.
Hey, going back to last week's fight, did you see those 2 illegal knees?
Yeah,
The the Native American guy that was on the Contender, which was, I was really hyped to see that fight and see
Yeah.
him throw down.
Yeah, he's a fiery dude.
Yeah, and man, he got slept with that illegal knee,
Yeah,
and he was up. I was upset. Everybody was upset. He was upset. He didn't want to win that way.
mm-hmm.
But damn, I'm like, what was that guy aiming for?
Right. What are you thinking?
Yeah,
What are you thinking
Looked
when
like
you know this?
he looked like maybe he was going for the chest.
he was wasn't just a little ways down. That guy was
He
all
was on
the
his
way.
butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't throw that shot. I mean, unless you're aiming low. And then Diego Sanchez gets caught with a illegal knee and opts not to continue, so he wins the fight. What do you think about that?
It's hard to say. He could have continued to fight, but he was also cut.
Oh, it was the flipping guy. It was the Brazilian dude that does all the flips and shit.
Yeah.
And Diego came out doing flips too.
Vieira.
Yeah.
Vieira, yeah.
And I mean, it's hard to say because he was cut by the knee, right? Or was he cut before the knee?
He was cut by the knee.
He's cut by the knee. That
It's
cut's
pretty
only
hard.
going to get worse,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a pretty significant strike. Could he have continued? Probably.
Should he have continued?
Should he have continued? I'm not in his shoes, so I can't say. I have experienced it before, and I was, on Queer Street. I was like,
Really?
what's going on? Like it was an illegal illegal knee. I was like, what's going on? Like I'm fighting. I was severely concussed, like obviously, and I could not continue, and I didn't. The ref said it was Don Turnage. He said,
Mm-hmm.
Can you continue? I said, give me a second, and he called in the doctor, and the doctor waved off the fight, and it was
But-
it was what it was, and I was accused of putting on an act and all this jazz, and it was a huge controversy in my career at that time, and I was a nobody. It was
But
on the internet, and everybody was talking about it. I was like, it was a big
You were
deal.
like,
and,
yes.
and now Diego Sanchez, so I wasn't in his shoes. I don't know how he was feeling in the moment, but having experienced it myself, like I was out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was out of it or if he was just like this cut.
That dude came to the fight out of it.
Well, true. He's always.
I'm not
out
sure
there.
I think he's on mushrooms.
But the cut would you think about that. Like, okay, now I'm bleeding. This is gonna get worse.
and it knocks the shit out of you.
It knocked the shit out of him.
That guy was huge.
Every time that someone takes an illegal hit, I mean, what makes them think that you should really continue?
illegal
on?
knees.
Right.
The guy did
should
something
not,
illegally.
The guy did something illegal. That's his own fault. It's not.
Diego
It's not
did
your
nothing
fault
wrong.
for not being able to continue. That's your own personal health choice. Do you have something to prove in that moment? How much does that fight mean to you? All these things come into play, and then
And
are you physically able to continue?
Well,
And that's the big question: are you physically able? Because I think most fighters, they're going to want to. The smarter decision is not to. Because I read one stat of all the people that have taken illegal shots like that, only one has come back and won the fight.
I bet a lot of them get finished after that.
They do. I mean, there was a
Because
couple.
they're wounded. I mean, you're wounded.
A couple of months ago, there was
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
that got. I mean, there was like 3 groin shots in a row,
And he lost.
and he kept coming back. And I'm like, how is he going to come back after? I mean, rolling in pain. He took 5 minutes for each one, and he came back, and after the third one, he was done. I mean, and he lost the fight. I mean, why you've been beat in the way that's not legal.
Right.
With there's very few rules that they have is where you can't and how you can't hit somebody. And so someone does that, and you should continue.
Well,
I soccer kicked you in the head when you're down. You should
The
continue.
fans don't care about the fighter's health.
no.
The friends and the family do. The fans, they just want a show. They don't give a fuck about your surgeries and your rehab and what's injured and whatnot. They just want to see somebody get hurt.
And it just depends on the fighter that throws the illegal knee.
Right.
Are the favorite fighter for everyone to hate? That I can't remember his name.
But they always
he
hate
threw
the
when he
guy
threw-
that can't continue to fight, but they never hate the guy that threw the illegal blow.
They did with what's the guy's name? He was
It's
he was
fine.
the cowboy player that's a fighter now.
Dan
Dan Hardy.
Hardy. Yeah. No.
No, not Dan Hardy.
Something Hardy.
Ed Hardy.
Greg
We-
Hardy.
Greg Hardy. Yeah, we go.
Bill Hardy.
One of those
He,
Hardys.
he got the shit boot out of him
Yeah.
after he threw the illegal knee.
Yeah, but he was hated going in.
Yeah.
So it depends. Yes, that's true.
And if like you're the hometown guy, and you go and you get illegally kneed, then everybody's gonna hate the guy that needs you.
Well, let's
So
talk.
fair.
Let's talk about the rules, because both of those guys that threw those illegal knees were like, what? Like what? Like they weren't explaining the rules properly before the fight, because
Well,
both
wait a minute.
of-
What-
both-
d-
both-
they-
Maybe
you
the
think-
ref just told him that night, like everything goes.
that's what it looked like. That's
Well,
what I mean. Both of those
But that
knees
would
were
make
so
that would
intentional.
make somewhat sense if it was the new rules, because the new rules, if you're down on a knee,
Well, that's
on a
what
single knee,
That's what I'm
then
getting
you
to.
can get kneed. If you're on a hand, you can still get kneed. So 3-point stance doesn't. It's not the same.
And that's
And
that's what it looked like. Those guys were like, what? I mean,
But
it looked like
neither one of those guys was holding a 3-point stance with just touching their fingertips down. They had their knees down on the ground when they took the knee to the head.
one of the he was sitting on his butt. I mean, he was
They're like, I thought this was the UFC. Anything
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah. back in the day.
So you're right.
Ball
It's
punches.
a shame that the
No,
The
there's
victim
no
gets-
excuse. Yeah, there's no excuse because they clearly state the rules beforehand, and you have your own ref come to you in the locker room. It's not like the lower level shows or local shows. They have like one big rules meeting where the ref's talking to everybody at once.
yes, I've
And
seen that a
maybe
number
the
of
main
times.
event they'll have individual, but we have a ref come there. I'm reffing your fight. Do you understand the rules? All right, tonight we're using the old
tonight,
rules. The
can
old
I knee
scoring
him in the head
system.
tonight?
Yeah,
Is that a
but-
question you got to
yeah,
ask,
yeah.
or you're a
They-
professional? You should know.
They say the new rules are the old rules based off the grounded opponent, and then they're clear about it. That means this is a no-go. You know, like hand on the ground, no knee. And it's like, okay, I understand the rules. I understand where the back of the head is. I understand all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Can I poke him in the eyes this time?
Yeah.
Can I hit him in the cup?
Yeah, they tell you fingers up, all that jazz, and it's like,
Well, in the early UFC, you could hair pull, you could ball punch,
Yeah.
you could kick them, you could soccer kick them when they were down.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
it's good
more
to see a few
mainstream,
rules
man.
in there. I mean, I
I like the
imagine-
rules. I mean, the rules make it more entertaining.
and there
They
are
keep us healthy to continue fighting.
there are very few rules like that in there.
Did you see
I mean, I've
Alistair
never
Overeem was in town?
Really?
Alistair Overeem's been doing a little.
Yeah, you're on that ADD shit.
Yeah, I
today.
know.
You're on,
What do you mean
top-
today?
Yeah, he was in town for McSweeney's martial art. There's McSweeney. He's a former UFC fighter. He's got a martial arts gym in Plano. It's not like super popular, but I
He was.
follow them on
I
Instagram.
saw him at the last XKO event. I
Uh-huh.
pushing his gym.
Yeah. But,
Hmm.
So he's out there in Plano. Just so
Interesting.
you guys know, in the MMA scene.
Keeping
else?
you informed.
Yeah. So other than the main event, which is I'm super interested in, what fights do we got coming up tomorrow? Definitely gonna tune in pregame for the Deontay Wilder fight.
Oh,
Good.
dude, we'll have to go somewhere and watch that.
Yeah, I'm get out of the house. Been all cooped up.
Wearing your brace, your arm
No,
brace,
up until yesterday, I was in a.
and the inflatable one.
It was
Like a splint? There
Yeah,
was-
a splint. Yeah, I couldn't.
Not a
move it.
full on cast, but more splint.
Yeah, soft cast. My whole arm.
Man, yeah,
And it's one of those things, you keep that shit on all the time because people then see it and like, all right, they stay the hell away. Otherwise, they just run
Oh
into
yeah.
you. They bump into you. And
for real.
it'll get fucked up.
I'm walking around just guarding it because
Hell yeah.
I cannot afford
have a setback on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'll shoot your ass. Back up.
that shit probably hurts too. I bet it's
Mm.
sore.
It is.
A lot of pain.
Yes.
Yeah, I bet. Looks painful.
Pain's just a new norm for me.
Well, that's part of the career.
This elbow's been painful for so long. I'm just hoping that, I did this for, future without pain.
You're gonna be
or
knocking
with less
people out.
pain. Yeah.
You can be knocking people out with a
I
jab
had a really
now.
good left hook.
It's gonna be better
but
now.
I wasn't able to use it because every time I block a punch, then it'd be like, oh,
Dead.
there goes my left arm. Time to start just throwing crosses without jabbing in front. I know it's a bad idea, but you got to do
That's all I
something.
got. That's all I got right now.
Oh,
You got to do something. I look back in old fights and I could see when it was bothering me, but it's you can't show it.
Can't
You
show it.
show
You push-
I
you
show
push
that
through
my
it.
left arm's not doing what I tell it to, then you're gonna keep attacking that side. So I gotta
Yeah.
switch things up. And in the Bruce Leroy fight, I went to southpaw
Mhm.
and started to jab with my right arm instead. And I could throw the left if I just put my weight behind it. It'll extend. So it made it work.
To me, it's interesting to see. I mean, you say people switch up for reasons whenever they're taking leg kicks, so they'll switch their stance.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the karate, taekwondo, they teach you're switching your stances constantly. And
Right.
sometimes with some fighters, you see that, and I think it really changes the dynamics of it because your opponent's going, okay, well, what the hell is he doing now? I mean, because you're constantly changing that.
Yeah, if you can
that
switch your
perspective.
stance, it gives you somewhat of an advantage. But there's always deficits. You're not going to be defensively the same.
You have a power side, and
Especially if you can switch it without them knowing it.
Well, yeah, it's when you're able to smoothly transition.
Yeah, and they don't notice it until they get cracked with that straight
Well, yeah,
left.
they're
like, oh,
moving
shit.
right into the power. You
Mhm.
coerce them into going to your power side
Yeah,
by switching your stance.
lead them into it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It's an art in itself.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to tomorrow's card.
tomorrow's card.
Interesting key fights.
Some names I can't even pronounce.
Kevin Aguilar,
Kevin Aguilar. Where is he on here?
probably undercard. Gonna have to tune in early.
Da-na-na-na.
Holy shit! How come I can't find him? Oh, there he
Who do you
is.
think's going to win tomorrow night? Deontay Wilder? Or?
Yeah,
I think Wilder's going
I
to
think he's gonna knock him out.
be cool.
Kevin Aguilar's fighting some dude, the Zuberi Turkanov,
The Russian
who's
guy?
18-4-1.
I don't know who any of these dudes are.
Nah,
I mean,
bunch of
Carolina,
Kowazi.
I've seen her fight a number of times.
Yes.
And you asked this question before. Like,
She's
what
on
do
a
fighters-
losing-
What do
she's on
fighters
a
do when
losing
when they're getting announced? She stands there with her hands down by her side, just
Yeah,
like she's waiting for the damn bus.
yeah.
I mean, she has no
She got-
emotion.
She got
I don't
beat
know-
up last time too.
Yeah, she did. But
You
but
gotta
she,
be
every
you gotta
time
be a
she
showman.
she just stands there like, okay, all right, I'm ready to go. I mean, every time I've seen her do that, I'm like, what the hell is she doing? How come she's not hyped
She's
up and ready?
probably really good in the gym, and she's probably just like in the moment, under the lights, like freezes up.
But I've seen
Maybe
her
it's
do
just
it
her
a number of times. That's her
her thing.
It's her thing. It's her style. She doesn't want to exert too much energy. She doesn't want to show, I guess. I don't know, but
She doesn't want to
She-
show emotion.
yep. So she's just gonna stand there,
Just
but
stand there.
but when the bell goes, she comes out and she's ready to go. Who's she fighting, Joe?
Some Chinese fighter. Zhang.
Let's not act like we know these names.
Zhang-
There's
We're trying to make him up.
Well,
as
a
I know-
lot of
well.
interesting
I know in
foreigners
Mandarin.
on the card.
Yeah, I can't pronounce 90% of these names.
It's a New
Good-
Zealand card, or yeah, you said
Yeah.
Auckland, New
Auckland,
Zealand.
Yeah.
So
Hey, wait, I found one.
I would imagine-
Angela Hill. I can
Hill.
I can pronounce her name.
Overkill
yeah,
Hill.
Yeah, she's a beast.
She was on Rogan a couple days ago. Loma, and she's fighting Loma, Luka
Bami.
Bumume.
So
Bukaname.
look forward to the UFC fights tomorrow on ESPN Plus.
And hopefully they can pronounce all the names.
Tune in early. Yeah, I'm sure they got a local announcer out there that knows these names.
They've been practicing for weeks.
I mean, it makes sense. The more the UFC goes international, they're going to have,
they don't want
natives. They're going to have a lot of natives.
They don't want Joshua and Timbo fucking up the names.
No, they'll fly in a few, from different countries to fight the natives, basically, and build up the native names. It makes sense promotion wise. So maybe you'll see a new star pop up tomorrow that you would have never heard of, that you can't pronounce their name.
True.
Yeah, all it takes is one person. I mean, and it's crazy when you're there in person. When I was in Houston, it's like anything could happen. That moment in the cage is so volatile. No matter how good you are, how you trained, anything can happen when you get in there, and you have just 5 to 15 minutes to shine. You have 1 to 3 rounds, and you go in there, and whatever happens, happens. And afterwards, it's like, wow, that all happened so fast. And it's like, on TV, it's like you're watching it. It's a whole different perspective, than actually being there and watching it happen in front of your eyes, being there backstage.
So if you haven't been to a live fight, everybody needs to go.
Yeah, it's really surreal to watch it all happen in person, and it's just like any other MMA show, but the world is watching. You know what I mean? The world is watching. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. This is Fight Fit Lifestyle Radio. We're out.